Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of How to Think Like a Pro. In this episode, we're going to take a look at how to be one step ahead of your opponent. Enjoy. The first thing you need to do to be one step ahead of your opponent is to track their movements and watch what they're doing. Think about it. How are you going to be one step ahead if you don't even know what they're doing right now? The next step is understanding what options your opponent has. This comes from practice and recognizing patterns. Of course, you can't think about this all the time, but in certain situations, your opponent doesn't have a lot of options, which makes it a lot easier. The final step is to have a response ready for their next move. Now, all of this sounds simple enough. What makes it hard? The first thing that can go wrong is having trouble tracking your opponent. Whenever you lose track of your opponent completely, play it safe and box up. This limits the amount of things that can happen, and you won't get damaged by surprise. As we learned from the EU Cash Cup winner last week, tracking your opponent is more important than high ground. The second thing that can go wrong is not knowing what options your opponent has. This partly comes from experience, but also actively learning after mistakes. Here's a perfect example of this. In this example, you'll see how Forziar dies to a specific type of jump he didn't know existed.
No way, that's Destiny, Jesus. It's just 160 me with like a sun jump.
However, 2 months later, you see that he's learned from this mistake, and now he's ready for any opponent that tries to do it to him. The final problem you can have is not having the right response for their next move. Again, this is partly from experience, but also noticing patterns. A very good example of this is creative warriors doing a good job tracking their opponent and being able to box them up fully, but then they die while they're boxing them up. Those are perfect examples of good tracking, but a bad response. Now let's see these steps into action with some pro examples. For this first example, we'll be taking a look at Reet. He is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I'm sure you guys know him. So what happens is he gets shot, and that's the first mistake of his opponent, obviously, because once you start shooting at Reet, you will probably die within 10 seconds, and that's exactly what happens. So he gets shot, he ramps forward, and now let's follow the steps together. Number 1, tracking your opponent. How is he tracking him? You can't even see him. Well, you see the cone that's edited within the box, so you could probably think, okay, he's looking up, or he's looking through that cone, and the floor up top is also edited, so that's another indicator of that. So that's the tracking part. Number 2, what options does his opponent have? Well, you can either play defensive or offensively. If he plays defensive, that's not really a big threat. He's just going to either run away or anything like that, but that's not really to worry about. Instead, you have to worry about, okay, what are his offensive options? What is he going to do that could hurt me? Well, he could obviously go for an edit on this sidewall on the right, or on his right, or edit through the top. Those are the most likely, but I mean, he's already editing through the top, or he's looking through that cone, so it's most likely he's going to edit at the top. Now, let's see what Reed does with this. Number 1, you see that he's looking up already, and he's not building a wall here. You could expect that to happen, which happens a lot in box fights where you build this wall preemptively. But watch this. So he basically waits for the other guy to edit and then builds the wall. What this does, it basically traps the opponent. Obviously, the opponent can try to go back, but you've already edited. It's going to be very hard to dodge that shot. And this is how Reet was a step ahead of his opponent, right? And he just cleanly finishes it off with his SMG. So to follow the steps one more time, he tracked his opponent through looking at his builds. Number 2, he realized what options his opponent had. And number 3, he was ready for the most offensive option and had a great response. In this next clip, I want to show off Miro, who is one of the top tier players in NA East right now. And in this game, it's a pretty stacked solo Cash Cup game. And he basically waits for this guy. As you can see, this guy is fully tarping in. And again, let's follow the steps. He's watching him. He's recognizing, oh, that guy's going back, which means he's got extra mats back there, right? So he instantly goes here and knows that guy, what are his options? Like, he has to come back because he's in Storm. And then he surprises him and it gets the kill. Now, the execution here was not perfect. The idea was really good though. The execution got kind of messed up for one reason, and that's because he broke a wall, right? So he broke this wall, and that made the other guy a little bit paranoid. Not because the other guy thought that he had Miro in his tarp, but because he could get shot from the outside world. So if you look here, you can see that he reset this wall because he was afraid to get shot from the rest of the map, basically. But the idea was really good. It's a very common idea to sneak into someone's tarp when you notice that, especially in solos, it works really well. So keep that in mind. This idea is really awesome. Just track your opponents, see what they're doing. Oh, they have extra mats. Well, they have to go all the way back into this tarp. Maybe I can sneak in somewhere. Even though it's not my builds, I can just one pump or just go in with the AR. For this next example, we'll be taking a look at Commandment, who's a bit more of a defensive player. He won the NA East Cash Cup though a couple of weeks ago. And this fight is really nice because basically anytime the enemy goes for a peek, he is completely ready for it and gets a pretty good trade, which is nice because it's a little bit more of a defensive way of predicting your opponent. So see here, first of all, he just goes for the wall, nothing too fancy, just right hand peek. He's doing it very carefully though. So this is very nice, so he tracks his opponent going that direction and he just has his pump out. So that's only 22, but he was completely ready for that edit. Plays it safe, just waits. Now he hears the guy leaving. A couple of tags, nothing too fancy. Then here again, he's just trying to pay attention to his enemy. And pop. That's basically a pre-fire. He does get hit back though, because the other guy was on the right hand peak as well. But look how much damage he did. That was kind of nuts. He had like 100 or something. But now, how does he close it up? Let's see. So notice that he's paying attention. You notice, okay, the ramp is backwards. He's moving, so I can get a little bit more in there. But then obviously it's not going to work because it's all fully built metal, so it's better to just go up. Here it gets the cone, very nice cone. And now how does he close it up? Let's see. Pickaxe once and jumps, and this jump also gives him a way better angle. And he's completely ready for this edit. So this guy, basically anytime he tried to do anything, he just got pumped in the face, basically, 3 times. So if you see here, see from his perspective. The moment he would go for a counter peek every time Commandment was ready. And the reason Commandment was ready every time was because he wasn't playing too fast. He was just trying to watch his opponent, see what he's doing. Which is a little bit different from the controller players we were looking at earlier, who are a little bit more aggressive. But as you can see, it can work both ways. You can be aggressive, you can be defensive. These fundamentals help no matter what. And this final one. Look how fast he shot. He was completely ready for it. Alright, yeah, so as you can see, these fundamentals work defensively, they work offensively. Just try to use them, watch your opponent, understand what they might do, expect edits, anything like that. So watch their movements, expect edits, and have responses ready. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll talk to you on Thursday.